The exploration ship Starfall moved slowly through the dark space between stars. Its metal hull gleamed under the light of distant suns. Inside the ship, two very different groups worked side by side. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge, watching the stars through the large window. He was a tall man with gray hair and calm blue eyes. His uniform was simple but clean. Next to him stood Commander Zarafil, one of the Veltari aliens who shared the ship with the humans. Zarafil looked very different from Jake. Her skin was pale blue, and her large eyes were silver like mirrors. Her people, the Veltari, were known throughout the galaxy for being very smart and very careful. They had advanced technology that humans could only dream of. But they were also known for being afraid of dangerous situations. The Starfall carried 50 crew members. Half were human and half were Veltari. This was a new kind of mission. The two species had never worked together like this before. The humans brought their courage and their ability to solve problems quickly. The Veltari brought their advanced computers and their deep knowledge of space. Jake turned to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Commander Amy Rodriguez. She was a short woman with dark hair and quick brown eyes. Amy was always ready for action. She never seemed to worry about anything, which sometimes made the Veltari nervous. "Any word from the long-range sensors?" Jake asked. Amy checked her screen. "Still nothing, Captain. We're in empty space. The nearest star system is 3 days away." But as she spoke, something appeared on the screen. It was small at first, just a dot among the stars. Then it grew larger. "Contact," called out Ben Carter from the security station. Ben was a big man with strong arms and a serious face. He had been a soldier before joining the space service. "Unknown vessel, bearing 27 Mark IV. Jake moved to the main screen. The unknown ship was strange looking. It was dark and angular, with sharp edges that looked like weapons. Red lights blinked along its hull. "It's not moving," Amy said. "Just drifting in space." Zarafel moved closer to look at the screen. Her silver eyes grew wide. "I have never seen a ship like this before. The design is not from any known species." Jake nodded. "This could be first contact with a new race. Everyone stay calm and follow. Protocol." Dr. Lisa Chun looked up from her medical station. She was a quiet woman with gentle hands and a soft voice. "Should I prepare the medical bay for possible visitors?" "Good idea," Jake said. "We don't know what we're dealing with." Engineer Rick Sullivan spoke from his position near the engine controls. Rick was young but very smart. He could fix anything and build useful things from spare parts. "Captain, I'm reading some strange energy signatures from that ship. It's not dead. Something is still running inside." Jake made his decision. "Take us closer, but keep our shields up and weapons ready. Amy, open a channel on all frequencies." Amy's fingers danced over her controls. "Channel open, Captain." Jake spoke in a clear, friendly voice. "Unknown vessel. This is Captain Jake Morrison of the exploration ship Starfall. We come in peace. Please respond." They waited. The bridge was very quiet. Everyone watched the screen, hoping to see some sign of life from the strange ship. Nothing happened for a long minute. Then the unknown ship's red lights began to blink faster. "They're responding," Amy said, but then her face changed. "Captain, they're not sending words. They're sending something else." The main screen flickered. Then it showed the inside of the alien ship. The crew of the Starfall saw creatures they had never imagined. They were tall and powerful, with thick gray skin and long arms. Their faces were like skulls, with burning red eyes. They wore dark armor covered in spikes. One of the creatures stepped forward. When it spoke, its voice was deep and scary. "Weak ones, your ship will belong to us. Your people will serve us or die. Jake kept his voice steady. We don't want to fight. We can talk about this. The creature laughed. It was a terrible sound. Talking is for the weak. We are the Kethmer. We take what we want. The screen went dark. A second later, alarms began to ring throughout the starfall. They're firing, Ben shouted. All hands, battle stations. Red energy beams struck the starfall's shields. The ship shook like a toy in a child's hands. Lights flickered as the power system struggled. Shields down to 60%. Amy called out. Jake grabbed the ship's communication system. All crew, this is the captain. We are under attack. This is not a drill. Everyone to emergency positions. Another blast hit the ship. This time something broke. Sparks flew from control. Panels, and the lights went out for a moment. Engine room reporting damage, Rick said. We can't run from them. Through the bridge windows, they could see the Kethmer ship moving closer. It was much larger than the Starfall, and it bristled with weapons. They're trying to dock with us, Ben said. They want to board our ship. Jake looked around the bridge. The Veltari crew members were frozen with fear. Their silver eyes were wide, and their blue skin had turned pale. They had never faced anything like this before, but the humans were different. Amy was already checking weapon systems. Ben was preparing defenses. Rick was working to keep the engines running. Lisa was getting ready to help wounded crew members. Amy, can we fight them off? Jake asked. Amy shook her head. Their ship is too strong. But we can make it hard for them to take us. Jake nodded. Then that's what we'll do. The Kethmer ship attached itself to the Starfall with a loud metal clang. Everyone could hear cutting tools working on the hull. They'll be through in minutes. Ben said, I'll get the security team ready. As Ben left the bridge, Zarathul grabbed Jake's arm. Her hand was shaking. Captain, we cannot fight them. They are too strong. We should surrender. Jake looked at her with calm eyes. We never surrender. That's not who we are. But you will all die, Zarathul said. Your species will die for nothing. Jake smiled. It was not a happy smile, but it was not afraid either. Maybe, but we'll die fighting. And sometimes that makes all the difference. The sound of cutting tools grew louder. Soon the Kethmer warriors would be inside their ship. Jake knew this would be the fight of their lives, but he also knew that humans had been fighting impossible battles for thousands of years. And sometimes, just sometimes, they won. The metal wall of the Starfall glowed red-hot. The Kethmer cutting tools were almost through. Jake could hear the alien warriors on the other side, their deep voices growling orders. 30 seconds until they break through. Ben called out over the ship's communication system. All human crew, remember your training. All Veltari crew, find safe places to hide. Jake watched as the Veltari crew members ran to hiding spots throughout the ship. They were smart and peaceful people, but they had never learned to fight. Their whole culture was built on avoiding danger, but the humans were different. They moved with purpose and speed. Amy grabbed extra weapons from the security locker. Rick picked up tools that could be used as weapons. Lisa prepared medical supplies and found a spot where she could help wounded people. Lieutenant Paul Martinez ran onto the bridge. Paul was young and always smiling. Even now, with danger all around, he looked excited rather than afraid. Captain, the security team is ready. We've set up barriers in the main corridor. Jake nodded. Good work. What about the engine room? Rick has it covered, Paul said. He's rigged some surprises for anyone who tries to get in there. The cutting sound stopped. For a moment, everything was quiet. Then came a loud crash as a section of the wall fell inward. Dark smoke poured through the opening. The first Kethmer warrior stepped through the hole. It was even bigger than it had looked on the screen. Its gray skin was covered in scars, and its red eyes burned with anger. It carried a weapon that looked like it could cut through steel. "Humans," it growled. "Come out and die quickly. We will make it painless." N's voice came over the speakers. "All teams, they're in. Remember, aim for the joints in their armor." The battle began. Jake heard the sound of weapons firing throughout the ship. The Kethmer had expected easy prey. They thought the crew would surrender or run away. But instead, they found humans who fought back with everything they had. Amy led a team of 5 humans against 3 Kethmer warriors in the main corridor. The aliens were stronger and had better weapons, but the humans were faster and smarter. They used the ship's layout to their advantage, attacking from different directions. "Lisa, we need you in Section C," Amy called out. "2 wounded. Dr. Lisa." Chun ran through the fighting with her medical bag. She moved between the warriors like she was dancing, helping wounded humans, and then disappearing before the aliens could catch her. She was small and quiet, but she was also very brave. In the engine room, Rick had turned the entire space into a trap. When 2 Kethmer warriors broke in, they found themselves caught in a maze of electrical wires and explosive devices. Rick used his knowledge of the ship to fight from hiding places the aliens couldn't reach. "That's for breaking my engine," Rick said as he triggered an explosion that sent one of the warriors flying. Paul Martinez was fighting in the corridor near the bridge. He was laughing as he dodged the aliens' attacks. To him, this was like a dangerous game. When a Kethmer warrior cornered him, Paul used his quick thinking to escape. "You're too slow," Paul said, sliding under the alien's legs and striking it. Its weak points, but the fight was not easy. The humans were getting tired, and the Kethmer kept coming. For every alien they stopped, 2 more seemed to take its place. Zarathael watched the battle from a hiding place. She could not understand what she was seeing. The humans should have been terrified. They were facing enemies who were bigger, stronger, and better armed. Any reasonable person would have given up. Instead, the humans seemed to be getting stronger. They moved like they had been born to fight. They helped each other without being asked. When one person was in trouble, others came to help. Zarathael saw Amy Rodriguez jump in front of a Kethmer weapon to protect a wounded Veltari crew member. Amy took the hit and fell down, but she kept fighting even while hurt. She saw Ben Carter use his own body as a shield to protect the engine room door. He was bleeding and tired, but he would not move. She saw Dr. Lisa Chun run into the middle of a fight to save a human who was badly wounded. Lisa ignored the danger completely, caring only about helping her friend. Most surprising of all, she saw the humans working together like they were parts of the same machine. They did not need to talk to each other. They seemed to know what the others were thinking. When Paul Martinez was surrounded by 3 Kethmer, Rick and Amy appeared from different directions to help him. They fought like they had planned it, but Zarathael knew they had not talked about it. How did they do that? Zarathael whispered to herself. The battle went on for an hour. The Kethmer were confused and angry. They had never met people who fought like this. Most species either surrendered quickly or ran away. But the humans didn't either. When the aliens expected the humans to retreat, they attacked harder. When the Kethmer thought they had won, the humans found new ways to fight back. It was like fighting water. No matter how hard you hit it, it just moved around you and kept coming. Jake joined the fighting in the main corridor. He moved like a man half his age, using his experience to guide the younger fighters. Amy, take your team left. Ben, cover the right side. Paul, watch the ceiling. The humans followed his orders without question. They trusted him completely, and he trusted them. This was something the Kethmer could not understand. Their society was built on fear and domination. But humans built theirs on working together. As the battle continued, something strange began to happen. The Kethmer warriors started to look worried. They had expected to win quickly, but the humans were still fighting. Some of the aliens began to hesitate before attacking. "They're getting scared," Paul said with a big smile. "Can you believe it? We're scaring them." Amy wiped blood from her forehead. Good. Let them be scared for once. But the humans were getting tired too. They had fought hard, but they were running out of energy and ammunition. The Kethmer still outnumbered them, and their ship was still attached to the Starfall. Jake knew they needed a new plan. The current fight could not go on much longer. Either they found a way to win, or they would all die. He looked around at his crew. They were wounded and tired, but they were still fighting. None of them had given up. None of them had asked to surrender. That was when Jake realized something important. The humans were not winning because they were stronger or smarter. They were winning because they refused to lose. And sometimes that was enough. The battle had been going on for 2 hours. The Starfall's corridors were filled with smoke and the sound of fighting. Sparks flew from damaged control panels, and the lights flickered on and off. Jake stood in the main corridor, breathing hard. His uniform was torn and dirty. Blood ran from a cut on his forehead. Around him, his crew looked just as tired and hurt. Amy leaned against a wall, holding her wounded arm. "Captain, we're running out of ammunition. Maybe 10 minutes worth left." Ben nodded from his position by the engine room door. "The aliens are regrouping. They're planning something big." Rick's voice came over the communication system. "Captain, I've got bad news. The ship's power systems are failing. The Kethmer have been damaging our main lines. We've got maybe an hour before everything shuts down." Jake felt his heart sink. Without power, they would have no lights, no weapons, no life support. They would all die in the dark. Dr. Lisa Chun appeared from a side corridor. Her medical bag was almost empty, and her hands were stained with blood. "Jake, I need to tell you something. We have 12 crew members badly wounded. They need real medical care, not just first aid." Jake looked around at his people. They had fought so hard, but it was not enough. The Kethmer were too strong and too many. Soon, his crew would be too weak to fight. Through the smoke, Jake could see the Veltari crew members hiding in their safe places. Their silver eyes were wide with terror. Some of them were shaking. They had never imagined violence like this. Commander Zarathael appeared from behind a broken control panel. Her blue skin was pale, and her hands were trembling. "Captain Morrison, this is hopeless. We cannot win. Your people are going to die for nothing." Jake looked at her. Even now, covered in dirt and blood, he did not look defeated. "We're not dead yet, but you will be," Zarathael said. "In an hour, maybe less. The logical thing to do is surrender. Maybe they will let some of us live." Jake shook his head. "We don't surrender. We never surrender." "Why?" Zarathael's voice was almost a scream. "Why do you keep fighting when there is no hope? Any intelligent species would give up now." Before Jake could answer, the lights went out completely. Emergency power kicked in, bathing everything in red light. The ship's computer voice spoke in a calm tone that seemed strange in the chaos. "Warning, main power failure. Life support systems switching to backup power. Estimated time remaining, 45 minutes. In the red light, Jake could see his crews. Faces. They were tired and scared, but they were still ready to fight. Amy checked her weapon. Ben strengthened his position at the door. Paul actually smiled. "Well," Paul said, "I guess we know how much time we have left." Rick's voice came over the speaker again. "Captain, I have an idea. It's crazy, but it might work. If I can get to the main engine room, I might be able to restart the power systems. But it means going through the most dangerous part of the ship. How dangerous? Jake asked. The Kethmer have 6 warriors guarding that area. Maybe more. Whoever goes in there probably won't come out. Jake felt something cold in his stomach. Rick was young and smart. He had his whole life ahead of him. But without power, they would all die anyway. I'll go, Jake said. It's my ship, my responsibility. No, Amy said immediately. You're needed here to lead the others. I'll go. I'm the engineer, Rick said. I'm the only one who can fix it. I have to go. They were all willing to die for the others. This was something Zarathel had never seen before. In her culture, when death was certain, people tried to save themselves. But humans seemed to do the opposite. We'll all go, Jake said finally. If we're going to die, we die together. No, Zarathel said suddenly. Everyone turned to look at her. No, you cannot all go. If you leave this area, the Kethmer will take control of the bridge. Then they will have your ship. Jake looked at her with surprise. You're thinking like a soldier. Now, Commander. I am thinking like someone who has watched humans fight, Zarathel said. I am beginning to understand something I never understood before. The ship shook again as the Kethmer attacked somewhere else. More lights went out. The red emergency lighting made everything look like a nightmare. What do you understand? Jake asked. Zarathel looked at him with her large silver eyes. I understand that your species is not normal. You do not act like any other intelligent life form. When faced with certain death, you do not try to save yourselves. You try to save each other. That's what people do, Jake said simply. No, Zarathel said. That is what humans do. My people would have surrendered an hour ago. We would have calculated the odds and decided that death was preferable to fighting a hopeless battle. She paused, looking around at the tired, wounded humans. But you do not calculate odds. You do not give up, even when you know you will die. You keep fighting. Jake nodded. Fear is just another enemy to fight. But why? Zarathel asked. Why aren't you afraid? Your species should be terrified. We are outnumbered, outgunned, and trapped. Our ship is dying. We have no hope of rescue. Any sane person would be paralyzed with fear. Jake was quiet for a moment. Around them, the sounds of battle continued. But in this small space, surrounded by his wounded crew, he thought about her question. We are afraid, he said finally. Every single one of us is scared. Amy is afraid she'll never see her family again. Ben is afraid he'll fail to protect his friends. Rick is afraid his repairs won't work. Lisa is afraid she can't save the people who are hurt. Then why do you keep fighting? Zarathel asked. Jake looked at her with calm, steady eyes. Because we learned something a long time ago. Fear is just another obstacle to overcome. We don't fight because we're not afraid. We fight because we are afraid, and we've learned that the only way through fear is forward. He paused, his voice becoming stronger. Every human carries the he. Fire of every ancestor who refused to give up. People who chose to stand and fight rather than kneel and die. We're not fearless, Commander. We're just too stubborn to let fear win. Zarathel stared at him. In her long life, she had never heard anything like this. Her people were advanced and intelligent, but they had never learned to fight fear itself. So you turn your fear into strength, she said slowly. We turn everything into strength, Jake said. Pain, fear, anger, sadness. We use it all. That's what makes us human. The ship shook again, harder this time. More systems failed. They were running out of time, but something had changed. Zarathel felt something she had never felt before. She felt like fighting. Jake's words spread through the ship like fire. The Vieltari crew members heard him over the communication system. For the first time since the battle started, they began to move from their hiding places. Zarathil stood up straight. Her silver eyes were no longer filled with fear. Instead, they blazed with something new, determination. "Captain Morrison, what do you need us to do?" Jake looked at her with surprise. "Commander, you don't have to fight. Your people aren't warriors." "No," Zarathil said, "but we are intelligent. We understand your ship's systems better than anyone. We can help you win this battle." Around the ship, other Veltari crew members were making the same choice. They were still afraid, but they had learned something from watching the humans. Fear did not have to control them. Engineer Telenas appeared from a maintenance tunnel. He was a thin Veltari with nervous habits, but his voice was steady. "Captain, I know the ship's electrical systems. I can help Rick reach the engine room." Dr. Velmuth stepped out from behind a food storage unit. She was the Veltari medical officer, and she carried advanced healing equipment. "Dr. Chun, I can help treat the wounded. My people's medicine is more advanced than yours." Amy smiled through her pain. "Now we're talking. Captain, if the Veltari help us, we might actually have a chance." Jake felt hope growing in his chest. "What's the plan?" Rick's voice came over the communication system. "Captain, if Telenas can guide me through the maintenance tunnels, I can avoid most of the Kethmer guards. But I'll still need a distraction to get into the engine room." "I'll create your distraction," Ben said. "Give me 5 minutes to set up." Paul Martinez laughed. "This is going to be fun." "Count me in." Jake looked around at his mixed crew. Humans and Veltari working together, united by a common goal. "All right, people. This is our last chance. We make it count." The plan was simple but dangerous. Ben and Paul would attack the Kethmer guards from the front, making lots of noise and drawing their attention. Meanwhile, Rick and Talanas would sneak through the maintenance tunnels to reach the engine room from behind. Amy would lead the remaining humans in a diversionary attack on the other side of the ship. The Veltari would use their advanced technology to support the human fighters and help treat the wounded. "Remember," Jake said over the communication system, "we're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for everyone who comes after us. If we fail, the Kethmer will think all space travelers are easy prey." The attack began with Ben's battle cry echoing through the corridors. He and Paul charged directly at the heavily guarded engine room, their weapons blazing. The Kethmer warriors were surprised by the frontal assault. They had expected the humans to hide and defend, not attack. "Come on, you ugly monsters," Paul shouted, diving and rolling between laser blasts. "Is that the best you can do?" Ben used his strength to wrestle with a Kethmer warrior twice his size. "Paul, stop talking and keep shooting." While the aliens focused on Ben and Paul, Rick and Telenas crawled through the narrow maintenance tunnels. Telenas guided Rick through the maze of pipes and wires, his knowledge of the ship's layout proving invaluable. "Left here," Telenas whispered. Then down through the air circulation system. Rick followed the alien through spaces barely wide enough for their bodies. Behind them, they could hear the sounds of battle growing louder. On the other side of the ship, Amy led her team in a fierce attack on the Kethmer forces there. Despite her wounded arm, she fought like a person possessed. The Veltari crew members supported her with their advanced sensors and communication equipment. "Amy, 3 more warriors coming from Corridor 7, called out Navigator Jeltar from his position at a sensor station. "Got it," Amy replied, redirecting her team to meet the new threat. Dr. Lisa Chun and Dr. Velmuth worked together to treat the wounded. The Veltari's advanced healing technology, combined with Lisa's surgical skills, saved lives that would have been lost. "Your people are remarkable," Dr. Velmuth said as she helped Lisa treat a badly wounded security officer. They fight with injuries that would disable my people. They fight because they have to, Lisa said. That's what humans do. In the engine room, Rick and Telenas finally reached their destination. The room was filled with Kethmer warriors, but they were all facing the wrong direction, focused on Ben and Paul's attack. Can you really fix this? Telenas whispered, looking at the damaged power systems. I can try, Rick said, but I need time. Can you watch my back? Telenas nodded. It was the first time in his life he had volunteered to fight. But watching this, humans had taught him something about courage. Rick went to work on the power systems while Telenas stood guard. The young engineer's hands moved quickly over the controls, rerouting power and bypassing damaged circuits. Come on, Rick muttered to himself. Work with me here. A Kethmer warrior turned around and saw them. It raised its weapon, but Telenas was ready. Using a tool from his repair kit, he struck the alien in a weak spot in its armor. The warrior fell. I can't believe I just did that, Telenas said, staring at his hands. Believe it, Rick said. You're tougher than you think. The power systems began to come back online. Lights flickered throughout the ship. The computer's voice announced, main power restored. All systems operational. But the victory was not complete. The Kethmer were angry now, and they fought with renewed fury. The battle became more intense than ever. Jake joined the fight in Chi. The main corridor, his leadership holding the human and Veltari forces together. Push them back. Don't let them regroup. The mixed crew fought with everything they had. Humans provided the courage and determination. Veltari provided the intelligence and technology. Together, they were stronger than either species alone. Slowly, impossibly, they began to win. The Kethmer warriors, who had never been defeated in battle, found themselves being pushed back toward their ship. They're retreating, Amy shouted. We're actually winning. But the Kethmer were not finished. Their leader, a huge warrior covered in scars, appeared in the main corridor. He was bigger than the others, and his red eyes burned with rage. Weak. Humans, he growled. You think you have won? We will destroy your ship and everyone on it. Jake stepped forward to face him. You're welcome to try. The alien leader laughed. You are brave, human, but bravery is not enough. No, Jake said, raising his weapon, but it's a start. The final battle was about to begin. The Kethmer leader was the biggest warrior Jake had ever seen. His armor was black and covered in the marks of 100 battles. His weapon hummed with deadly energy. But Jake did not step back. You cannot defeat me, human, the alien leader sighed. I have conquered 1,000 worlds. I have never been beaten in combat. There's a first time for everything, Jake replied. The battle between Jake and the Kethmer leader was fierce. The alien was stronger and faster, but Jake was smarter. He used the ship's layout to his advantage, making the alien chase him through narrow corridors where his size worked against him. Around them, the rest of the crew fought desperately. Amy led a group of humans and Veltari in pushing back the remaining Kethmer warriors. Ben and Paul worked together to guard the engine room. Rick and Telenas kept the power systems running, but it was Dr. Lisa Chun who made the difference. While everyone else was fighting, she had been studying the Kethmer warriors. She noticed something important about their armor. Amy, she called out over the noise of battle. The joints in their armor. They're not just weak spots, they're cooling systems. If you block them, they overheat. Amy understood immediately. She passed the information to the rest of the crew. Within minutes, the humans and Veltari were attacking the Kethmer in a new way. Instead of trying to break through their armor, they blocked the cooling vents. One by one, The Kethmer warriors began to overheat. Their movements became slow and clumsy. Their weapons stopped working properly. For the first time in their lives, they were losing a battle. The Kethmer leader saw his warriors falling. His rage grew even stronger. Impossible! He roared. We are the greatest warriors in the galaxy. No, Jake said, breathing hard from the fight. You're just bullies who pick on weak targets. You've never faced anyone who fights back. The alien leader swung his weapon at Jake's head. Jake ducked and struck back, hitting the cooling vents in the alien's armor. Steam hissed out, and the Kethmer leader stumbled. Your people are weak, the alien gasped. You should have died hours ago. But we didn't, Jake said. That's the difference between us. You fight until you think you might lose. We fight until we win or die trying. The battle ended suddenly. The overheated Kethmer warriors collapsed one by one. Their leader, seeing his forces defeated, made a choice that surprised everyone. He dropped his weapon. I yield, he said. Take your victory, humans, but know that others will come. Others who are stronger than us. Jake kept his weapon pointed at the alien. Let them come. We'll be ready. The Kethmer leader looked around at the mixed crew of humans and Veltari. You have taught my people something today. We thought all species were like us, that they would surrender when faced with superior force. But you are different. Yes, Jake said. We are. The Kethmer warriors retreated to their ship. As they left, their leader spoke one last time. We will tell others about you, about the humans who turn fear into strength. Some will avoid you. Others will seek you out to test themselves. Your galaxy will never be the same. With that, the Kethmer ship detached from the starfall and disappeared into space. The crew spent the next few hours repairing their ship and treating their wounded. No one had died, though many were hurt. Dr. Lisa Chun and Dr. Velmuth worked together to heal everyone Dot as the ship continued its journey. Zarathel found Jake on the bridge. He was looking out at the stars, his uniform cleaned and his wounds bandaged. Captain, she said, I want to thank you. For what? Jake asked. For teaching my people something we never knew we could learn, Zarathel said. We always thought intelligence meant avoiding danger. But you showed us that sometimes the intelligent thing to do is to face danger head on. Jake smiled. You did well in the battle, Commander. Your people did well. We learned from watching you, Zarathel said. I think I understand now what makes your species special. You don't fight because you're fearless. You fight because you've learned to use fear as a tool. That's part of it, Jake said. But there's more. We fight because we refuse to let fear make our choices for us. Every human carries the memory of ancestors who faced impossible odds and kept going anyway. Zarathel nodded slowly. Your species has faced extinction many times, hasn't it? Wars, plagues, natural disasters, famine, Jake said. Our history is full of times when everything seemed hopeless. But the humans who survived weren't the strongest or the smartest. They were the ones who refused to give up. And that became part of who you are, Zarathel said. Exactly. We don't fight because we think we'll win. We fight because giving up isn't an option. Sometimes that's enough to turn the impossible into the possible. Amy Rodriguez joined them on the bridge. Her arm was in a sling, but she was smiling. Captain, I've been talking to the Veltari crew members. They want to know if we can train together. They want to learn more about what we call fighting spirit. Jake looked at Zarathil. What do you think, Commander? I think my people have much to learn from yours, Zarathil said. We have advanced technology and great knowledge. But you have something we lost long ago, the willingness to risk everything for what matters. Dr. Lisa Chun appeared on the bridge. Captain, I've finished treating all the wounded. Everyone will be fine. But I wanted to tell you something interesting. What's that? Jake asked. The Veltari crew members who fought with us today, their medical readings show something I've never seen before. During the battle, their brain activity changed. They developed new neural pathways, new ways of thinking. What does that mean? Amy asked. It means they learned to overcome fear at a biological level, Lisa said. They actually changed as people. The experience made them stronger. Zarathel felt a warm feeling in her chest. Is that what courage is? Not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite it? That's exactly what it is, Jake said. And now your people have it too. Over the next few days, the human and Veltari crew members worked together more closely than ever before. The Veltari were no longer afraid to take risks. They volunteered for dangerous missions and spoke up when they had ideas. The humans, in turn, learned to use the Veltari as advanced technology and careful planning to make their courage more effective. Together, they were stronger than either species had ever been alone. Paul Martinez summed it up best during a crew meeting. We're not just humans and Veltari anymore. We're something new. We're explorers who aren't afraid to explore. Ben Carter nodded. The Kethmer leader was right about one thing. Our galaxy will never be the same. Other species will hear about what happened here. Some will be inspired. Others will be challenged. Good, Jake said. The universe is big enough for all of us to grow stronger. Rick Sullivan raised his hand. Captain, I've been thinking about what we learned today. The Kethmer were bullies because no one had ever stood up to them. But there might be other species out there who need someone to stand up for them. What are you suggesting? Jake asked. Maybe our mission isn't just exploration anymore. Maybe it's about showing others that you don't have to be afraid, that you can fight back even when the odds are against you. Zarathal looked around the room at the mixed crew. A mission of hope, she said. I like that. Jake stood up. Then, that's what we'll do. We'll explore the galaxy, meet new species, and show them that courage is possible. We'll prove that working together makes everyone stronger. The crew cheered. Humans and Veltari alike, they were united by a common purpose. As the Starfall continued its journey through space, Zarathel made a personal log entry. She spoke quietly into her recorder, her silver eyes bright with new understanding. Personal log, Commander Zarathel. Today I learned something that will change my people forever. I learned that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite fear. I learned that the strongest weapon is not technology or physical strength, but the refusal to surrender. She paused, looking out at the stars. The humans have taught us that hope is not just a feeling, it is a choice. And when people choose hope, when they choose to fight for what matters, they become capable of things that seem impossible. She smiled. I think I finally understand what makes humanity special. They don't fight because they're not afraid. They fight because they are afraid, and they've learned that the only way through fear is forward. In doing so, they've revealed what truly makes them formidable among the stars. Not their weapons or their ships, but their unbreakable spirit. The log entry ended, but the story was just beginning. The Starfall and its crew would face many more challenges in the days ahead. But they would face them together, humans and Veltari, united by the knowledge that courage is contagious, and that hope is the strongest force in the universe. Not in the depths of space, word of the battle spread. Other species heard about the humans, who turned fear into strength, and the Veltari, who learned to fight. Some species were inspired to find their own courage. Others decided to test themselves against these strange new allies, but the crew of the Starfall was ready. They had learned that the universe was full of wonders and dangers, but also full of possibilities. And as long as they faced those possibilities, together, there was nothing they could not overcome. The stars stretched endlessly ahead of them, full of promise and adventure. And for the first time in their lives, both humans and Veltar